999 kilohertz and 97.3 VHF in stereo, 24 hours a day.
Around the clock.
07725611000. If you want to join us, you can. How do to Albert.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm phoning about Jack, who phoned up earlier on.
Yes, what do you want to say?
Well, I thought the way you slagged him off, I thought it was a bit out of order, really.
Well, tough. I'm slagging you off and cutting you off. Get off. Dave, what do you want?
Hello, Alan. I'd like to ask about, the local radio advisory councils?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Are they, like the BBC, appointed, or are they sort of just volunteers?
Not a clue.
Oh. Oh, because I wondered if they had the same sort of rights as sort of the, if you were broadcasting a programme that was what they considered offensive, they can take it off.
Not a clue. Have a word with them and find out. Seems simple to me. If you want to complain about this programme, be my guest. Hello, Bruce.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to ask what you think. When you go into a pub and you go in the cubicle...
I don't go into a pub. I don't go into a pub.
All right, fair enough. But
well, that's the answer to the question, isn't it? There's no if. I'm not going to play pretends with you. Robert, what do you want?
Oh, I'd just like to complain about the bigoted way some of the so-called right-wing press are covering the events in South Africa.
We'll be with Darren quite soon.
Have you been to the late night spot in Fortin yet? The Bay Horse Barn is open nightly from Tuesday to Saturday till 1 o'clock and till 11 p.m. every Sunday, featuring discos, live entertainment and country music. Admission is free Tuesday, Wednesday and Sunday, so hurry on down to the Bay Horse Barn at Fortin or telephone 791 204.
Here's some important news from Dave Barron Caravans. They've just made a bulk purchase of the new 1985 models of ABI Eldest Towing Caravans. They bought in bulk so you save money. Over £1,200 off the list price on selected models, or very attractive part exchange allowances. Hurry to Dave Barron Caravans, Chapel Lane, Coppell near Chorley.
I'll do to Sharon, not Darren. Hello, Sharon. Hello, Terry.
Hello?
Hello?
Alan?
Yes?
Oh, I've just got my girlfriend pregnant.
Well, what do you want, a round of applause?
Well, she wants to go to university and she don't want anything to do with me anymore.
Seems to me you should stick to the script, Terry.
What?
Coronation Street is beyond you. You'll never get there. Your acting is appalling. Peter, how do?
Hello, Alan?
Hello?
Do you know what a question is?
No idea. Don't know why I use the word, to be perfectly honest, except that it seems to fit you adequately. Hello, Anthony.
Hello?
Hello?
I would like to express my feelings on seal culling. I think it is disgusting that people kill innocent baby seals for the furs and for the likes of rich people and other people in general and all these so-called human beings. To kill a baby seal, which has done no harm to anybody, and taking it away from its mother is appalling. And to carry on this
well, just
way,
because it hasn't done harm to anybody doesn't mean to say it's got a greater right to live than other animals, such as baby cows that people eat.
Yeah, but I'm not on about baby cows.
Well, you are actually. You're on about killing poor defenceless animals. Well, cows are poor defenceless animals.
I'm on about killing baby seals.
Yes, I know what you're on about, but you brought it into a wider range by saying killing poor defenceless animals. Cows are poor defenceless animals that have done no harm to anybody.
Yeah, but
so is it right to kill them?
Cows, right, are killed.
Yes, I know they are. I'm asking you if it's right to do so.
To kill cows?
Yes.
Well, they kill cows in factory farming, don't they?
That's irrelevant. Will you answer the question yes or no?
Yeah,
is it right to kill them was the question. Is it or isn't it? Don't you know?
That's irrelevant from killing seals.
Just answer the question yes or no, Anthony, and then we'll proceed. Is it right to kill them or not?
Yeah.
It is right to kill poor defenceless cows.
In factory farming?
Just in factory farming?
Yes.
So if we had them not in factory farming, if we had them, for example, in the traditional farming method, it would be wrong to kill them?
Yeah.
How interesting and boring and indeed inaccurate. Boydie, what's your proper name?
Mark.
What do you want?
You said you're coming to Sabden, Benderoo, for a picnic the other week. You said you were going to Benderoo.
Yes, I know what I said, Mark. I'm rather more concerned with what you've got to say, if indeed anything.
Well, I was just wondering if you popped into the village and went into any of the village pubs.
No, I don't go into pubs unless I absolutely have to, or I'm dragged in screaming by my wife, okay?
Yep.
Excellent. Hello to another Mark.
Yeah, I'm from Liverpool. I'd just like to
You can't win them all, Mark. What do you want?
I've just recently returned from a short trip to Railway, you know, with a couple of my mates. And I'd just like to say, like, that we've gotten a lot of trouble from people from around the Manchester area and Blackburn and all that. And, you know, they just make out as if they're trying to prove something. And I'm wondering whether it was like this when you were young. You know, whether...
I've no idea. It was such a long time ago.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Hello, Gavin.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? I'd like to complain about the fact that prejudice has spread right down to, you know, the younger people. About 8 and
What do you mean you'd like to
9 years old.
complain about it?
Well, my little brother wanted to join this Cub Scout group and he couldn't because he's a nudge.
Sorry, kid, you've got to be quicker than that. Even if you're a half-wit, you should be able to be quicker than that, and you are a half-wit. Hello, Andy.
Hello?
Hello?
I'd like to talk about football hooliganism.
Well, you can't. It's not the football season. I refuse to speak about subjects that are irrelevant. Martin, what do you want?
Hello, Alan. I'd like to talk about Rio.
Rio what?
Rio 6.
What an idiot. Hello, Paul.
Hello. Is that you, Alan, yeah?
Of course it is.
Yeah, well, I just want to put the point across about gays. Yeah?
Do you mean a long gaze through the window, or do you mean homosexual people?
Homosexual people.
Excellent. What do you want to say?
Well, I'd just like to put it across that I think that they can go for a quiet, pleasant night out, a drink, or whatever you want to call it, right? And what they call it, they get beat up for some of it that they do with completely in their own personal lives. And I just like to think, you're like, oh, I know it's disgusting. It's
What's disgusting?
the way they can go out and get beat up for some of what they're doing in their own personal lives. And I've noticed that, what we call it, you take the side of gay. If anybody comes on, you always seem to take the side of them.
And I take the side against whatever the person is arguing about, normally.
Yeah, well, I know that, but you know what I mean. Every time somebody comes about homosexual, you...
Are you going to make a point? I don't understand what my opinion's got to do with this. You're stating your opinion, you've done so. Would you like to tell me what my opinion has to do with it?
No, I just phoned up and told you what I think.
Well, you have done.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but...
Well,
why do
goodbye
you,
then.
Yeah, but why do you always take the side?
You said you wanted to tell me what you think. You've done so. Why are you asking me questions now? That was all you wanted to do. You've done it. Goodbye. Hello, Eric.
Hello, Alan. I'd like to bring up a point that I don't think's been touched on yet about work ethics and things like that.
Well, work ethic has been mentioned, but go on.
Yeah, well, the pleasure of working what you call on social hours.
What do you mean the pleasure of working on social hours? And what's that got to do with the work? Pardon?
Well, don't you think it's when you're driving to work, there's very little traffic on the road. It's all going the wrong way. You can get to work easily in your car.
Well, yippee, yippee, yippee. We're all dead pleased. What is all this drivel?
Well, I'm a burglar, you see.
Well, I'm glad you're a burglar.
I find it so much nicer and easier to go into banks after closing hours.
I'm sure you do.
Well, there's no queue, there's no surly counter.
None whatsoever. No, indeed.
Just a quick burst with the old thermic lance, and you've got what the kind of wages that your average man would get in a year.
Indeed it is. But very worthwhile practice. Why aren't you out burgling instead of bothering me? Hello to David.
Hello? Is that Mr. Beswick?
Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I'd like to
Who do you think it is?
Could I talk about...
Who do you think it is? Who do you think this is?
It's Allan Beswick. I've rung up Allan Beswick.
Right. So, when you got through, why did you say, hello, is that Mr. Beswick?
Well,
I mean, if it was...
else at switchboard, you say, I don't know if it was you.
Yeah, well, somebody else has... I mean, with all due respect to that person, has a rather higher voice than I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to talk about law and order, please.
Law and order.
Yeah.
It's a very long subject. You haven't got very long to do it, so get on with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that anyone who breaks the law should be put to death.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, have you ever parked your car on a double yellow line?
Pardon?
Have you ever parked your car on a double yellow
No, I
line?
haven't got a car.
You haven't got a car?
No.
Have you ever committed any crime at all?
No.
None whatsoever?
No, I've
never ever?
Because I'm a very law-abiding citizen.
You're a very law-abiding citizen, are you?
Yeah.
I see. And you've never committed a crime in your life?
Yeah, well...
Have you or haven't you?
The thing I'm trying to say
You've never committed a crime in your life,
No,
ever?
I haven't. No, I'm very
Excellent, well
law-abiding
done.
citizen.
Well, It's a pleasure to talk to such an honourable person, but I, for one, wouldn't be able to if your law and your rules were implemented, and nor would 99.9% of the rest of the population. We are not as great as you. You would therefore lead a very lonely life, but you would be able to speak to somebody of your own intellect and your own superior ability all the time, and that person would be you. The person you can talk to now is me, but I'm too low for you. Goodbye. Hello to Ben.
Hello, Alan. I would like to talk to you about supplementary benefit, if I can.
Please yourself.
It's about 8 weeks ago now since I've started signing on, and unemployment office, they've told me that I didn't pay enough stamps, so they pushed me over to supplementary. Now then, I've been living with my girlfriend for the past 2.5 years. We live together, and somehow it states in the form there that they class us as man and wife, so therefore I am not entitled to full benefit because she is working.
You're entitled to the full benefit for you. You're not entitled to claim for her.
No, I'm not claiming for her, but I'm claiming for myself, but somehow it's...
But you get the benefit for you.
Yes.
So what are you worried about? You're getting the benefit for you.
No, but I'm not getting the full benefit.
What do you mean the full benefit?
What I should be.
No, you are getting what you're entitled to. You're arguing that you should be entitled to more. Which bits of benefit that you do not get would you like to get?
Well, I'll give you an example.
I was rather hoping you would. That was why I asked the question.
For instance, if I was living by myself...
Well, you're not living by yourself. I just asked you what benefit would you like to get that you're not getting.
Well, that is the whole question.
Well, yes, that's why I asked it. Would you like to get to the answer?
Well, if you were living by... Say if I was living by myself, yeah? Then I should be getting more than... Why should they class her wage according to my...
They don't actually take her wage into consideration to assess your personal entitlement.
Oh, yes, they do.
And listen carefully. They don't actually take into account her wage to assess your personal entitlement. You, as an individual, are entitled to the male benefit, the benefit for a male unemployed person. Full stop. Rent, rates, all that kind of stuff, you're not entitled to in total, because there is a person in the household who is earning and who can pay it. That seems perfectly reasonable to me.
I see, but somehow they seem to class as man and wife.
They do class you as cohabitees, that's the term. Whether you're married or not is irrelevant.
Okay, if they wish to class us as married man and wife, in that case...
No, I've just told you, they don't class you as man and wife. They have no interest in whether you're married or not. They class you as cohabitees.
All right, then...
If you are sharing a joint household.
In that case, why they don't tax her as a cohabitee, then, if you like?
Why don't they tax her? Because the taxation regulations are not controlled by the supplementary benefit people. They're two separate government departments.
To me, they seem to do exactly what they want. They don't...
Well, they do exactly what they want. They're called the government. They make the decisions.
Yeah.
They make the laws. If you don't like them, that's fine, but they make them.
Yeah, the whole system is corrupt, if you ask me.
Well, corrupt is an unfortunate word, isn't it? Why corrupt?
Well, that's not the exact word, but...
Well, the exact word would have done a lot better than corrupt. Corrupt suggests things like they have in America.
I know. I know what you mean, yeah. But,
good. Well, I'm glad you know what I mean. It was nice of you to tell me. How do, Tony?
Hello, Alan.
Yes.
Listen, I'm not going to waste your time.
Good. That's solved, isn't it? Hello, Keith.
Hello.
What do you want?
I want to talk about jellies.
You want to talk about what?
Jellies.
Jellies? I don't eat jelly. You're far too young anyway. You've got to be 16. At least your IQ's got to be 16. Another Tony, what do you want?
Hello, Tony. I'd like to tell you what I experienced today.
I'd love you to, but first of all, will you get my name right? I'm called Allan. Your name is Tony. Well, you say it is.
All right, Alan.
Very good.
I got a job today, right?
Congratulations.
The manager was dead impressed with everything I'd done, from the experiences and everything.
Somebody must be very easily impressed.
And then he said to me like he'd let me know by Friday if I got the job or not.
So when you said you got a job today, what you mean is you might have got a job today.
More or less.
Excellent. So don't come on with a ridiculous story. You didn't get a job today, I presume.
All right. Then about half an hour later, he rang me back. Right, and then he said, "Do a smoke?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, well, you can't smoke in my business.
Excellent.
that
Excellent.
allowed?
First class. I'm all in favour of it. Excellent. First class. If more employers did that, I'd be a happy boy. Dave, what do you want?
All right, so how you doing, pal?
I'm not your pal. I'm selective about who I have as friends.
Dave Barron Caravans and Awnings, Chapel Lane, Coppell, near Chorley.
For caravanning today, you get the #1 choice at Dave Barron.
Open 7 days a week.
Allan Beswick.
Another David. Hello.
Hello, you speaking to Dave from Wallasey?
I may well be.
Oh, that's me then. I'd just like to talk about heroin addiction, Alan.
Talk.
Well, for the last couple of years, I've been messing my life up taking heroin, and I've been trying to look for some way to help me, apart from, you know, having weak will, which obviously you must have to be on the heroin. But I have been trying my doctor for, I suppose, a methadone course, and he finally gave me one today. I'd just like to thank him and tell everybody that's taking heroin at the moment that if they can pluck up courage to go to the doctors, then if you are a genuinely wanting to come off the heroin, then the doctors are taking a more lenient view.
David,
they will help you.
Are you going to succeed?
Well, I wouldn't have gone to the doctors if I didn't have, you know, this.
Are you going to succeed?
Yes.
Yes is the answer. You are going to succeed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Every time you feel like taking heroin, every time you feel like packing it in,
Yeah.
ring me instead, alright?
Yeah.
We'll do it. Okay?
Yeah, at Red Rose.
Ring me at Red Rose, and if I'm in, I'll talk to you.
Great.
Ta-ra.
Okay.
I'll do to Graham.
Hello, Alan?
Yep.
How you doing? You alright?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not think the drink driving laws are regressive?
Regressive?
In
In
that-
what sense?
Well, suppose I got caught for drunk driving, right? I'd lose my job and my whole future.
Excellent.
And some people, right? I mean, a professional man who can afford it, can afford to buy a taxi service and go to work like that. And people like me would lose my job and all my future altogether. And some people.
The solution, Graham, it may sound silly, but the solution is in your hands.
Solution in my hands.
Yeah?
But you don't think this would be more progressive?
Let us just deal with your problem, first of all, Graham. The solution is in your hands. There is no reason...
What does that mean?
It means that you will never, but never get done for drink driving unless you drink before you drive. It's easy so.
Dividing line, isn't it? 2 pints for getting caught.
It isn't a fine dividing line.
I mean, you
I think
could
it's
be drinking 6
will you
pints
tell the chimpanzee in the background to shut his childish little gob, please? And when you've done that, we'll return to the conversation. And the conversation. Say good night to your baby. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I come from Hampshire, settling in the north of England. I'd like to talk to you about 3 broken marriages, any chance of further happiness, any advice you can give me would be appreciated.
I've got no idea, love.
No idea. It's
None
all
whatsoever.
just
There's always a chance of happiness.
Yes. It does tend to destroy your faith in human nature.
I don't see why it should. It's your faith in yourself that counts.
True, but
Happiness is on the inside, not the outside. Whereabouts in Hampshire are you from?
Southampton.
I lived in Winchester for a short while.
I used to
very
live by just outside Bitton in Southampton.
It's all right round there, isn't it? Despite the fact it's down south. Anyway, welcome to the north. I hope you enjoy it. But happiness is on the inside, not the out. All right.
So you bring it outside and it comes back to you.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Concentrate on being happy. Shouldn't we all? It's very nearly news time, so you'll have to join us after 1 o'clock, I suppose.
Red Rose Radio.
The 1 o'clock news. This is Mike Carson. There's more bad news for Mrs. Thatcher in a new opinion poll in today's Daily Telegraph. It shows the Tories' popularity has slipped to its lowest since 1981, and just 1 point away from their worst rating in 40 years. All British airlines flying Boeing 747s have been ordered to check for metal fatigue in their planes. The instruction from the Civil Aviation Authority follows the Japanese jumbo disaster in which 520 people died. Part of the jet's stabilising tail fin has been recovered from the sea off Tokyo, and it's thought that this caused the plane to go out of control and crash. A 1% cut in the mortgage rate is likely to be announced later today when building society chiefs meet to review the cost of home loans. Marie Kinsey of our financial staff reports.
The building societies have been under increasing pressure to drop the mortgage rate to all borrowers after the banks made 0.5% cuts in their interest rates, taking them to 11.5%. Some building societies reacted immediately and trimmed 0.75% off their rates to new borrowers from September the 1st, and at the same time scrapped the system of differentials, whereby the bigger the sum borrowed, the higher the interest rate. Today it's likely the societies will agree to cut the rate from 14% to 13%, which will mean a saving of nearly £5 a month for every £10,000 borrowed.
The Virgin Atlantic Challenger is on course for the Scilly Islands, with the crew confident of winning the coveted Blue Ribbon Trophy for the fastest boat crossing of the Atlantic. Skipper Ted Tolman says they're looking forward to a good meal and the biggest pint of beer ever when they arrive today. They've survived nearly running out of fuel after a tank split, with a Good Samaritan container ship topping the catamaran up so that it could reach its next scheduled refuelling ship. London organiser of the Challenger's attempt says they've got an RAF anti-submarine aircraft to thank for keeping the boat in the race for the record.
Nimrod went out and did an overfly exercise and brought our refueling vessel and the Virgin Atlantic together. And even more remarkable was a large container vessel belonging to the French ACL organisation actually altered course and gave us some fuel as well. So it's almost easier to pick up fuel in the Atlantic than it is on the side of a motorway.
England's cricket team are this morning renewing their battle to regain the Ashes when they take on the Australians in the 5th Cornhill Test at Edgbaston. As our cricket correspondent Dominic Allan reports, with the series level at 1 match each and just 1 game to go, victory for David Gower's side at Birmingham is essential.
If England are to have a realistic chance of winning this series, they must win here. The Australian seam attack should give them the advantage at the Oval in 2 weeks' time, and even if England were able to come from behind to level the series there, the Ashes would remain Australia's. So a lot depends on the next 5 days and England's ability to bowl out Australia twice on what is expected to be a slow wicket. England have won 5 of their last 7 tests here, and they have the batsmen to make it 6 out of 8. Dominic Allan, IRN Sport, Birmingham.
Independent Radio News.
3 minutes past 1, I'll do. Welcome if you've just joined us. Where have you been for the past 3 hours? I've been labouring away here. 0772 56 1000 if you want to join us. Dial carefully, and that's the only number you can get through on.
Rainbow's Radio.
I'll do to Wincy.
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I'm talking from Morecambe, and I'd like to talk about the advertising tactics used by a lot of fishmongers. Why do they advertise something as fresh when it's been in a fridge for months and get off scot-free? When prescription charges get higher and my mates will no longer try me cooking.
What's prescription charges got to do with it?
Well, I'm having to go to the doctor quite a lot lately because of bad advertising by certain fishmongers.
Well, stop eating the advert.
I'm not eating the advert. I'm eating the fish.
And your mates won't eat your cooking?
No, because
they're probably very wise.
Food poisoning and...
Food poisoning?
Yeah.
And you blame this fish?
Yeah, I'm blaming the fish because I bought the fish thinking it was fresh, and whereas it was fresh fish, but it had been like frozen for 3 months previously.
But the implication of that, Wincy, is that you were sold stuff that was unhygienic.
Yeah, but they're advertising.
That's what you're saying. Well, let us not worry. First of all,
fresh fish.
Well, fresh fish, if I remember correctly, in advertising terms, means uncooked. But I may be wrong. Why don't you try the Trading Standards Office?
Yeah, where's that?
Well, why don't you try the telephone directory and look them up?
Oh, I would, but the telephone's been vandalised.
Has it indeed? Well, they're not working at the moment anyway, because they don't work at 1:05. All right, Wincy.
Thanks for your time, anyway.
Thank you for yours. Really interesting talking to you. Honest. Hello, John.
Hi. I want to complain about the rudeness of shopkeepers towards young people.
Why?
Well, it's just something that happened to me recently.
Are you a young people?
Well, I'm not, personally.
Then why are you bothered?
Well, it does bother me, Alan, Because my young brother came back from the shop and said the chemist wouldn't serve him, but I only sent him for...
Take your scrap to CSM, Preston's top scrap metal men. They pay a better price, so this is our advice. Go to CSM.
Turn your scrap metal into cash. Best prices 6 days a week at Carlton Street Metals off File Road, Preston. 472 9949.
Go to CSM. CSM.
We simply don't have time to do all the shopping today.
Of course we do. Look, we only need a couple of birthday cards and a box of chocks for Auntie Sarah.
I wanted some stationery.
And I promised Tony I'd buy him one of those new board games.
I could do with a new computer program and a couple of books and newspapers.
What about that record you said you'd buy me for my birthday?
See, I told you we couldn't get everything today.
Yes, we can. At John Menzies. They stock everything we need and more. It's like having 7 stores all under one roof.
John Menzies at Cleveland's, Preston, Wigan and Barrow.
Come on, dear. Oh, wasn't it wonderful? Pigs, trotters and garlic lobster. It was beautiful food and plenty to drink.
Oh, barbecued. Barbecued? Alka-Seltzer. For headache with upset stomach, be ready with the plink plink fizz.
For a tasty treat with a difference, try genuine Turkish kebabs from as little as £1.50 for a large Turkish doner kebab at the In-N-Out Kebab licensed restaurant and takeaway. Open every evening till 3 a.m. at 71A Dixon Road, Blackpool. That's the In-N-Out Kebab licensed restaurant and takeaway. Call in for a free taste.
24 hours non-stop.
Harry Raymond.
Hello, Mr. Beswick. I'd like to ask you a serious question. Oscar Wilde spoke of the love that dare not speak its name. Now I wish to establish speaking to a man who gives sound advice, which usually proves absolutely fatal, what Oscar meant.
Perhaps it would be better if you tried to find out from him. I realise it would be difficult, but you have as good a chance as I have.
Yeah, but one of my faults is having to listen to intelligible nonsense.
What do you mean you have to listen to it?
Well, listening to you, that is.
Why do you have to listen to me, Raymond?
Well, you're a man of literary
I asked you why you have to listen to me, Raymond.
Well,
Have
suppose
was
I
the-
don't have to listen
Well,
to
that
you.
was the word you chose. I gave you the decency of supposing you were an honest, upstanding citizen, when in fact you were lying through your teeth. You don't have to listen to me at all.
But listen...
Turn it off.
Pardon?
Turn it off. If you think it's drivel, turn it off.
No, but, yeah, I feel right. Oscar was trying to say, it was about an older man having expressions of love for a younger man. Is that right?
I've no idea. I can't say what you think.
No, what do you think?
I've told you I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know now, I didn't know before, and nothing just happened in between times to change it.
Well, what you mentioned in Shakespeare earlier on, I thought you knew all about this sort of thing.
Oscar Wilde didn't write any Shakespeare.
No, but he quoted Shakespeare.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean to say that he and I are the same person, merely because he quoted Shakespeare and I quoted a very tiny bit of it, and I don't actually remember which bit of it I quoted now.
Oh, well, you said something about Shakespeare earlier on.
Aye,
I
that's
thought-
right, yes, I referred to him. I didn't actually quote him, did I?
Well, referring to him is the same thing, isn't it?
Okay, so if two people say Shakespeare, they both know what each other mean when they say other things, do they?
No, not really, but Oscar Wilde knew a lot about Shakespeare.
I'm sure Oscar Wilde did. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about what Oscar Wilde knew about.
So you're ignorant?
Of Oscar Wilde, yes.
Oh, that's nice to know anyway.
Well, nice, not nice, really doesn't matter, does it?
No, thank you.
The truth is, Raymond, you know sod all about him as well. Hello, Simon.
Hello?
Hello?
What I want to talk about is Venetian blinds.
I'm sure you do, but they're totally boring, aren't they, really? Hello, Gordon.
Hello, Allan. I'd like to talk about South Africa.
What would you like to say about it?
Bit of history first. 20 years ago, the South African trade union organisations asked the developed countries of the world to bring pressure on the South African government by not trading with them and boycotting South African products. The governments gave some credence to this. They had nominal boycotts, but really, in reality, they still trade. But the real boycott, I think, should come from the people. As the main population of South Africa have asked, that we should boycott South African goods. That we shouldn't eat their fruit and we shouldn't eat their vegetables.
Well, Gordon, when you say we, you sound almost regal.
Well,
you have the decision. Are you wanting it to be made illegal?
No, what I want to do is draw to the attention of people of similar thought and persuasion to myself, which I think is a reasonable part of the population, that there is a definite way that they can really think of the global problems, but there are local actions that can be taken. And we get the feeling that these are international problems that are out of our control. They're not. We can influence them in some small way. It's more, I think, symbolic than effectual, but it is some little thing that a person can do if he feels...
That's a long-winded way, Gordon, of saying it's up to the individual, but if you want to hit South Africa where it hurts, don't buy South African products. Is that correct?
I wish I was as succinct as you at times.
I've learnt it parrot fashion because I don't buy South African products and never will, until apartheid is got rid of.
Yes. Do you think this boycott should apply to other countries? I mean, if we say...
I think it has to be a matter of choice. It doesn't apply to... When you say other countries, do you mean other countries than South Africa, or do you mean other countries than Britain making the decision that you've just advocated for others within Britain?
No, it was the principle of actually reflecting one's views and opinions by one's purchasing strategy.
Yes.
And, as I say, at one time I thought Israel was the bee's knees. I thought they got something really going there. It was a good state. But developments there over the last 4 or 5 years has unfortunately proved me wrong. There again, I can express my view, I can express my opinion by not buying Israeli fruit. You know, so
that is your choice, and despite the fact that I agree with you that the Israeli government currently is not the friendliest government in the world, I don't boycott their products.
No, because that's your choice, but...
Yeah, so what I'm saying to you, Gordon, is it is an individual's choice, and yes, it is a weapon or a protest we can make. If enough of us make that protest, then it becomes a weapon, really, doesn't it? It becomes a weapon in the armoury of negotiation.
Of course.
Financial pressure is one of the best pressures you can apply to a country. So if enough of us choose to use the protest, that method of protest, then we will create a weapon. And I believe that people have the right to make the decision for themselves.
Yes, what I want to know is, do people realise that they have this right? Do the people realise that they have the power to apply this pressure? I say it might only be, 50, 75 pence a week per person, but it adds up.
Well, the answer is, if they didn't, they do now.
They do.
All right.
Thanks a lot,
Cheers.
Allan.
Ta-ra now. Ian, how do to you? Ian's gone. Never mind. I don't blame him. Rick, what do you want?
I'd like to talk about giving everybody an equal chance.
Well, that's a very interesting subject.
Yuri Gagarin was the first man in...
Sorry, kid. Jimmy, how do?
Alright, Alan.
Yes, I'm very well.
I'd like to talk to you about drugs.
I'm sure you would.
And heroin.
Drugs and heroin?
Yeah.
I see.
Like, I smoke cannabis, right?
What's that got to do with drugs and heroin? Right.
And people say...
What's that got to do with...
Listen.
No.
Listen.
Talk to your friend. Your friend is the one you want to talk to, so talk to him. Or her. Jack, hello.
I'd like to talk about some of the atrocities caused during the last World War.
Do so.
There's been a lot of information on the television recently.
Yes, we've all heard the television. Jack, you're going to tell us something that we've not seen on the television. Will you get on with it?
Yeah, I think it's diabolical that some of these Japanese war criminals haven't been brought to justice, and I really think something ought to be done about it.
So do I, actually. I didn't see the film. Are you referring obliquely to the film on... I think it was one of the commercial television stations. No, it was Channel 4, I'm almost certain, but it doesn't matter. About the Japanese experiments.
Yes, ma'am. I only saw a part of it.
I didn't see any. I've got it on video and I forgot to watch it today, to be honest.
Right, well, I only saw a part of it, but I'm not a believer in capital punishment, but I also believe that these people, as an exception, that, ought to be brought to justice, and some of them ought to be put to death in the way that they put people to death in the past.
That's a contradiction, Jack.
No, I am not generally in favour of capital punishment, but in this case I feel that it ought to be exerted.
No one suggests that capital punishment should be a general thing. It should only be for certain crimes. No, I've never heard anyone say everybody should be put to death. That would be general capital punishment. You're not saying that. You're saying you do believe in capital punishment, right?
For certain crimes,
It's a yes or no. You either believe in it or you don't.
Well, in that case it must be yes.
Yeah, so fine. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of people believe in it. I think they're wrong, but yes. What good would it serve now? I appreciate, just from reading, well, mainly The Guardian, about the programme, so it's, if I'm about 10th hand by the time I get it, whereas you get it 9th hand when it's on TV. But from what it said in The Guardian, I got the impression that the Americans collaborated and actually allowed the Japanese perpetrators of these horrendous crimes, war crimes, to get away with it for reasons best known to themselves, not the least of which was they wanted the secrets that had been brought about via the experiments, yeah? They wanted the results. But what good would it serve now to bring those people to book and then to put them to death should they be found guilty, as they almost certainly would in the circumstances?
Well, I feel that justice must be done. And
well, justice must be done, but really the question is whether that is justice so late after the day.
Well, I don't really think that it matters how late it is. I think that something ought to be done, and I think that to bring these people to trial, if you have to put them in prison, it costs an awful lot of money, and I feel...
Now you're talking about the economics of capital punishment. I'm more interested in whether it is right to bring them to trial. Given that, and I know this sounds awful, but it's true, someone has said to those people, look, you're okay, we're going to gloss over it. Now, those people that said it were, at the time, our representatives. And if we now renege on that, we are behaving unfairly. I do appreciate that the Japanese weren't exactly fair at the time, but we are then behaving unfairly. We have not given them the opportunity to prepare a defence at the time or within a reasonable time of the incidents. We're now going to ask them to defend themselves some 40 years later, and one wonders whether that is justice.
But does time really matter? I mean, those atrocities were committed.
Time does matter. One of the reasons that a lot of war criminals, a lot of Nazis, get away today is because there is insufficient substantive evidence to find them guilty. There is the gentleman who was found not guilty and released of war crimes when in fact there was strong evidence pointing to him. But he was released quite recently, in the past 5 or 6 years, because there was insufficient evidence. Now where I come from, and with my thought processes, that means he's innocent. However, if that prosecution had been brought years ago, nearer to the war, and I appreciate in his case it was because they couldn't catch him, but had they caught him then, they may well have had a better chance of conviction. Now, what we have here in the Japanese situation is people who have been given, who have been exonerated, perhaps unwisely, definitely unwisely, but exonerated nonetheless. So they have not gone about preparing defences, they've not had to. If we now go to them and say we've changed our mind, A, are we not coming down to their level of being unjust? And B, is it not unfair? We still have to give those people the right to a fair trial, and one wonders whether they can get one.
But those people have admitted on television that they committed these crimes knowing that they wouldn't be brought to justice, and I think that's diabolical.
Yes, it is, but if we'd have said to them, okay, you're going to be brought to justice, I feel sure, although I have no more guarantees than you, that they wouldn't go on television saying guilty. They'd say not guilty. We didn't do it, pal.
Do you feel possibly that over the past 40 years more effort should have been given to trying to catch them as the Nazi war criminals, perhaps?
The answer to that is I think we should have done so with vengeance, with a vengeance, not vengeance, my apologies, it was a slip of the tongue, but we should have done it with a vengeance for the period immediately following the war, and we should then have done it for forever, really. we should have kept at it, and we should find all of those Nazi war criminals. And we should never, but never, but never have given the Japanese war criminals exoneration. Never. But now that we have to stand by our word, surely.
Yes, I suppose I must accept that. But perhaps just changing the subject slightly, do you feel that it's right that somebody, one Nazi war criminal being held in a prison in Germany on his own, at the cost of many thousands of pounds to the taxpayer, should be allowed to remain there? I'm not saying that he should be freed, but I'm saying that in a case like that, perhaps the person ought to be put to death.
I think Rudolf Hess should be released.
Why?
Because there is no evidence, never, to my knowledge, has any been presented, that he was guilty of the Nazi atrocities.
Well, as I understand it, there was evidence that he was guilty of many of them, or certainly being involved in many of them.
Well, we have conflicting information, and I don't propose or purport to know all about it. That may or may not be the case. The fact is that he's now a harmless old man, and I think keeping him in isolation is, quite honestly, ludicrous now. And the only reason it's actually done is so that the Russians can maintain a military presence in the non-Russian sectors of Berlin. And I don't think it's fair that one man should suffer merely for that.
Should one man stop suffering then? I mean,
well, that's a different issue. That's a different issue. But the people that we nominate to make such decisions, three of those groups of people, vis-à-vis the French, the British and the American governments, think not. And the fourth government says that it thinks he should continue to suffer. And when you consider that that government itself is currently guilty of equally atrocious acts, it seems somewhat two-faced. So I'm prepared to say that if we removed all the advantages, all the military advantages that the Russians get out of going into that section of Berlin, then I think they too would be prepared to release him.
Okay, Alan, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye now. Darren, we'll be with you soon, honest.
King's Buffet service can turn a special occasion into a right royal occasion. They provide a thoroughly professional catering service, paying attention to the sort of detail that adds a touch of style to any party. Their expert chefs cook all the wholesome dishes themselves, and KBS provides service, quality cutlery and crockery. Where else can you get beautifully prepared food presented stylishly, all at a very reasonable cost? If you want the best, ring KBS on Great Harwood 885190. That's 885190.
Here's some important news from Dave Barron Caravans. They've just made a bulk purchase of the new 1985 models of ABI Eldest Towing Caravans. They bought in bulk so you save money. Over £1,200 off the list price on selected models, or very attractive part exchange allowances. Hurry to Dave Barron Caravans, Chapel Lane, Coppell near Chorley.
How do, Darren?
Hello.
Hello.
I'm from Balthorne. I'd like some advice, please.
I'm not giving advice today.
Why not?
I'm not giving advice today.
Oh, I'd just like some.
Well, I know you would, but I'm not giving any, so you can't have it. Noz, what do you want?
Some advice, but you're not giving any.
That's right. Never mind. Mike, what do you want?
Hello, Allan.
Hello?
Mike from St. Helens. What do you think about 60s music?
I'm sorry, that is a question. I don't answer questions. If you've got something to say it, but I don't answer questions like that. Hello?
King's Buffet service can turn a special occasion into a right royal occasion. They provide a thoroughly professional catering service, paying attention to the sort of detail that adds a touch of style to any party. Their expert chefs cook all the wholesome dishes themselves, and KBS provides service, quality cutlery and crockery. Where else can you get beautifully prepared food presented stylishly, all at a very reasonable cost? If you want the best, ring KBS on Great Harwood 885190. That's 885190.
Glendon Motors, Peugeot, Talbot.
Visit Glendon Motors, the Peugeot centre of the north, and take a close look at Peugeot quality. We know you'll be impressed with the 505 GTI and the 305 GTX, but when you've seen the exciting 205 range, which starts at just over £4,000, you'll realise that Peugeot quality is available to everybody. Of course, Glendon take part exchange and make quite amazing allowances, so come up market with Peugeot and Glendon. It's a combination that makes motoring a better experience.
Glendon Motors, Peugeot, Talbot, Superstore.
At Blackpool Road, Preston. We simply don't have time to do all the shopping today.
Of course we do. Look, we only need a couple of birthday cards and a box of chocks for Auntie Sarah.
I wanted some stationery.
And I promised Tony I'd buy him one of those new board games.
I could do with a new computer program and a couple of books and newspapers.
What about that record you said you'd buy me for my birthday?
See, I told you we couldn't get everything today.
Yes, we can, at John Menzies. They stock everything we need, and more. It's like having 7 stores all under one roof.
John Menzies at Cleveland's, Preston, Wigan and Barrow.
Hello, Percy Braithwaite here, inviting you all to my anniversary party. From the 18th of August, for a whole week, the Crest Hotel's celebrating its 10th anniversary. There's all sorts going on. There'll be fun and games galore for everyone. Just have a look in your local paper for details. So, get your best cap on, give your ferret a good brushing, and get down to Percy Braithwaite's last stand at the Crest Hotel in Preston. Help me to celebrate the anniversary in style.
Red Rose Radio.
Yippee. It sounds like he couldn't quite make his mind up whether to play a tune or not, that jingle, doesn't it? Never mind. Greg, what do you want?
Yeah, there was somebody on before, Alan, about supplementary benefit. Now, I got married recently myself, and it happened to coincide with me unemployment benefit running out. So I went down, I signed for my last unemployment benefit cheque, and I asked them about supplementary. Now, I told them my wife was working. They asked me how much she was making. I told them, and they said I probably won't get it. And it seems to contradict what you said before, that they don't take.
Well, they're more likely to be right than me, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's another thing on that. You were talking about cohabitation. Well, they don't. I'm sorry about that. They don't seem to take it into account if you're living with another lad, because I was living with sharing a house with a lad, and I had to go on supplementary once before because I packed my job up of my own accord. And they won't give you a dole for 6 weeks, so I had to go on supplementary. But they didn't ask about what he earned or anything, but they do. They ask about your wife. They don't seem to take it into account if you're living with a fella.
The answer to that is, if you want to live with somebody and you're on supplementary benefit, be gay. All right.
All right.
Ta-ra. How do Chris?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Yeah, I want to talk about courts.
Courts.
Yeah. Why men get punished more than women do?
Do you mean why the punishment for a man is greater than the punishment for a woman?
Yeah.
I've no idea.
Well, do you not think, like, it's unfair?
Probably.
Well...
I'm not overbothered about people that commit crimes, to be honest.
Well, have you ever committed a crime?
Everybody has.
Well, have you?
Everybody has. I'm a member of everybody.
Yeah.